Hello everyone. Today's story is about how Ibrahim Traoré caught the secret spy in his army, and what he did with him will shock you. The night air in Ouagadougou was unusually heavy, as if the wind itself carried secrets. Inside the heavily guarded presidential compound, Ibrahim Traoré sat at the long mahogany table of the War Council. Maps of the Sahel lay scattered across the surface, marked with red pins and handwritten notes of battles won and lost. His red beret rested beside him, a silent symbol of both authority and rebellion. His dark eyes scanned the room, reading not just the papers, but the faces of the men who had sworn loyalty to him. For weeks, intelligence reports had whispered of betrayal. Attacks against army outposts were happening too precisely, too quickly. Each time, the jihadists seemed to know the soldiers' positions before the bullets even left their rifles. Traoré's instincts screamed the truth. Someone inside his circle was feeding the enemy. He leaned back in his chair, letting the silence of the room stretch uncomfortably long. Finally, he said, his voice calm but edged with steel. "Brothers, there is a snake among us." The officers shifted uneasily. No one dared to speak. 3 nights earlier, a convoy had been ambushed near Kaya. The attackers struck at the exact moment the supply trucks reached the narrowest part of the road, a place only someone with inside knowledge could have identified. Dozens of soldiers were killed. Their blood still stained the sand. Reports came in that the enemy not only knew the routes, but also the precise timing of troop movements. This wasn't luck. This was treason. Colonel Bako, one of Traoré's oldest allies, leaned forward. "Comrade President, perhaps the French have infiltrated us again. Or the Americans. We cannot ignore the shadows of the past." But Traoré raised a hand. "No, this is not foreign intelligence. This is one of our own. Someone who eats with us, prays with us, fights beside us, yet sells our men to their deaths." A chill ran through the room. Traoré devised a plan in secret. Only 3 men knew of it: himself, Colonel Bako, and Adama, the quiet, unshakable intelligence officer known as the Shadow. They would feed false information into the ranks. A fake troop movement, an imaginary convoy, and a false meeting point in the eastern province. If the enemy struck at that precise place and time, the traitor's identity would be revealed. The bait was set. 2 nights later, the jihadists launched an ambush, exactly where the false convoy had supposedly been. But when they attacked, they found nothing but empty trucks filled with sandbags and hidden cameras. Drones circled overhead, recording everything. The soldiers watched in silence as the proof of betrayal unfolded. The leak was real, and the trail led directly to Captain Issouf Sanogo, one of Traoré's rising stars, a man once praised for bravery on the front lines. Sanogo had dined at Traoré's table, toasted victories with him, even prayed by his side. And yet, evidence showed encrypted messages from his satellite phone, directing coordinates to the enemy. The arrest was swift. At dawn, while the city still slept, Sanogo was seized by military police inside his own barracks. He offered no resistance, only a bitter smile, as if he knew this day would come. When he was dragged before Traoré, the room was filled with officers. Everyone wanted to see the face of the man who had condemned their brothers to death. Traoré studied him quietly. "Why, Sanogo? You wore the same uniform, carried the same rifle, swore the same oath. Why?" Sanogo's voice was steady, almost defiant. "Because, Ibrahim, you are not the savior you claim to be. You talk of freedom while chaining us to another master. Today you wear a red beret, but tomorrow it will be a Russian hat. I chose the winning side." Gasps rippled through the room. His words were poison, an accusation that cut deep. Days turned into nights as the interrogation dragged on. Sanogo refused to break. He admitted nothing beyond what was already proven, and in his silence, he seemed almost stronger. He demanded a public trial, knowing it would embarrass the regime. But Traoré had no intention of letting this betrayal become theater for his enemies. He decided the punishment must be both secret and legendary. At midnight, inside the old fortress on the edge of Ouagadougou, the council gathered. The chamber was dimly lit, shadows dancing across stone walls. Sanogo was brought in, shackled, his eyes still burning with pride. Traoré stood, his red beret casting a shadow across his face. Captain Issouf Sanogo, you are guilty of treason against the Burkinabe people. For every soldier you condemned, for every village you betrayed, for every drop of blood you sold, you will face justice. Sanogo smirked. And what is justice in your hands, Ibrahim? Execution? Torture? You'll make me a martyr. My name will be remembered long after yours fades. But Traoré only smiled coldly. No, you will not die a martyr. You will live as a warning. Instead of executing him, Traoré ordered something unexpected. Sanogo was stripped of his rank, uniform burned in front of him, and his medals crushed underfoot. His face was broadcast live on national television, not as a hero, but as a coward. The people saw him weep, humiliated, as his betrayal was read aloud. Then, in the final twist, Sanogo was not shot. He was exiled, banished into the very desert where he had once fed information to the jihadists. With nothing but a single canteen of water, he was driven to the edge of enemy territory and cast out, forced to survive in the land of the same militants he once aided. Some say he was captured and executed by the jihadists themselves, branded as a traitor even to them. Others whisper he still roams the Sahel, a ghost of shame, cursed to wander the sands forever. The shock of Sanogo's downfall electrified the army. Soldiers who once feared betrayal now stood taller, their loyalty renewed. Traoré's legend grew darker, more formidable. He was not only a commander, but a hunter of traitors. And yet, in the privacy of his chambers, Ibrahim Traoré could not shake Sanogo's words. Today you wear a red beret, but tomorrow it will be a Russian hat. Was the traitor truly wrong? Or had he simply revealed a truth that no punishment could erase? Weeks later, in the dusty markets of Niger, rumors spread of a ragged man wandering with hollow eyes, muttering of betrayal and revenge. Some swore it was Captain Sanogo, others said it was only a ghost story told to frighten children. But in Ouagadougou, whenever the night grew silent and the wind carried the whispers of the desert, Ibrahim Traoré would pause, wondering if the snake he cast into the wild was truly gone, or if it still slithered, waiting for another strike.
Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe.